Hey everyone, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So tonight, what I'm gonna have, I'm gonna share with you. And so we are gonna have, I took out elk backstrap. And I was gonna do a wild game Wellington. But after I started looking at the steaks in this bag, they're a little odd shaped and they're not quite as thick as I would like them. And so I thought, you know, plus it's kind of time consuming. I thought I would still stick with some of the same, flavors and components to a degree. But I will do a Wellington for you soon because it's amazing. And I just have to get the right steaks out of the freezer. So this is a elk that my husband actually harvested, and it's just amazing. The elk meat is better for you. It's lower in fat than chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and it's higher in protein. There's no antibiotics or hormones, obviously. They're eating totally organic, and this is how we really like to eat. We don't always get that opportunity, but so I decided to opt out of that and opt into I'm gonna grill these steaks. I'm gonna marinate them first. I'm gonna grill them, and we're gonna have a porcini mushroom Alfredo penne. That's a mouthful, huh? Anyway, I have porcini mushrooms that I've dried, but I've got this package that's just perfect. It's, dried. It's only 1.6 ounces, but rehydrated. It will be plenty for this dish. And porcini mushrooms, traditionally, it's a really woodsy kind of it's got an earthy smell. They're very aromatic and delicious. If you're going to have mushrooms in an Italian sauce, well, you better put some porcini mushrooms in there. When if I do a polenta and I want to kick it up a notch, you're going to have some kind of porcini mushroom sauce. These are the mushrooms that you should be having when you make ravioli. I don't know that because the amount of stuff in ravioli is so small, it has to pack a big punch. So this is hot water I've had in the microwave up to a boiling point, and I'm going to let these just steep in here, and I am not throwing away. You can see how it's creating a really beautiful vegetable broth. I am not throwing that away. I'm going to use it to mix in with my homemade Alfredo sauce mix. And I do have a video, so go to my channel and look up Alfredo, I think it's Alfredo sauce dry mix. Anyways, it's amazing. You can use this with water, you can use it with milk. It has milk in it, but we're going to use a little bit of both for this. I don't want to toss this mushroom goodness, so I'm going to use a little bit of both. So I'm going to set this aside and let those rehydrate. Oh wait, while they're rehydrating, I've got some zucchini that I dehydrated that I'm just going to, I don't need a lot, but I do want a little bit. I need another vegetable in the mix. And some colors, right? And this is a combination of sliced zucchini and diced. And this has been sliced before dehydration. It was sliced pretty thin. And I like to slice it a little bit thicker if you're going to have zucchini and use it for chips, for salsa. And these are wonderful. And I'll even slice them lengthwise. Now they do tend to keep a little chewy consistency, or I have found, and it might be the amount of dehydration time I'm giving them, but I'm just adding a little extra vegetable in there. Can't hurt that. And ooh, it smells really good already. porcini mushrooms are so earthy and delicious. So this is hot water, remember that. I'm gonna set that aside. We've got penne pasta right there. And then I'm gonna do the marinade. So my marinade for the elk meat, it's pretty simple. It's not, I'm not gonna submerge it in anything, you know, too out of control amazing. But, you know, I am going to probably pause you for a second and bring back, I need some red wine. So I'll pause you for 1 second and I'll be back, YouTube style. Okay, I'm back lickety split, and I've got myself almost a cup of wine. I probably don't need any more than that with the other liquid ingredients. I'm also, as this porcini mushroom cools down, because it'll cool down as it sits here, I'm probably going to use some of that to add and impart a little bit more of the earthy flavor. And so, do you want to see, here we go, glove time, because this will avoid having to wash my hands and wait for that. If you want to kind of see what, yeah, these were strips off the one end of the tenderloin, and they're delicious, don't get me wrong, but they wouldn't have been thick enough, except for that one would have. That would have been perfect. And maybe that one, but probably not. It's still pretty thin. I have to tell you, there's a earthy background to elk. It's such a fabulous meat. I hope that one of us gets an elk tag this year, because we're almost out, and it is just, I love it. I put it in everything that I use beef with. And, you know, health-wise, it's so much better for you, even though I'm totally a beef lover. I'm not gonna lie. But this has the same, all of the wild game meat has the same qualities to it. So, oh, I probably won't need any of the mushroom stuff. Looks like we're gonna smush it just fine. So that was almost a cup of red wine. And now I'm gonna put just a few splashes of Worcestershire sauce. I don't want a whole lot. This has a lot of spice to it, and it could overpower what I'm trying to do here. And then I need red wine vinegar as well. Between the vinegar and the wine, it's gonna break down the connective tissue in the meat and help it become tender. Because of lack of fat, and you know, when you cook meat, even beef is aged for you. Before it goes to the grocery store, I believe it's aged 28 days. We age our elk so you can cut through it with a knife, and that's why we age meat. It's breaking down that connective tissue. Our elk meat was aged about 21 days because this was a bull elk. So if you don't, you're not going to chew it. Neither is your dog. So, and this is liquid smoke, and I'm just going to judge how much is in here. Oh, maybe a tablespoon. I knew there wasn't much. I don't need, and there probably wasn't even that much, probably a teaspoon. And then I am going to add a little bit of oil. I'm using roasted garlic grapeseed oil from Wild Tree, just about a tablespoon, just so, you know, I have a little bit of something going on in there as far as oil goes. And I've got some cracked black pepper, and we want some parsley. I know you're going, it's a marinade, so what? I love it. And then I'm gonna add some garlic in here. And I have, you know, I could rehydrate some of my garlic powder, but for marinades and stuff like this, I'll just use the minced garlic that I buy already pre-made. I believe it's got a little vinegar base to it, or it seems like it does. So I don't really need to chop up fresh garlic, you can. This isn't going to marinate this long, or that long. Now, the other deal, okay, I do want it submerged in here, just so, you know, got some of that going on. And I wouldn't even mind having some green onions. Speaking of green onions, anybody that watched my video that I did on replanting yesterday, I loaded that video yesterday on replanting green onions, the root end. Those babies already have little bits of green starting to come up. And so I'm excited. I'm going to do, I've got another video that's kind of similar, and then I'll show you what's going on day 2. But getting back to this video, we have our meat that we're just going to let sit here and marinate. I'm probably going to marinate this for, let's see, it's 10 to 6. I'll text my husband, see what he's looking at, because I want him to have a nice warm dinner. I don't want it reheated. I'm guessing this is going to be in here almost a half hour. And I'm going to leave it out on the counter because I really want to grill the meat at room temperature. So, you know, if you put cold meat on a hot grill, it's going to seize up and actually become, I think it seizes up to and becomes tough. And so we don't want that. We want to put it more at room temperature. So, and you can already see here, I'm going to show you, you can already see how the mushrooms and the zucchini are just soaking up the flavor and the water and rehydrating. They're not soaking up any flavor, so forget that comment. But they're rehydrating. I don't know what it is when well, yes I do. I mince my words around all the time. Anyway, so I'll bring you back when I'm a little further along and we're maybe doing up some pasta. This is going to be delicious. And we are going to have this with some broccoli on the side because I have that wonderful broccolini. And yeah, okay. I'll be back YouTube style. In YouTube time or something like that. Okay, so I'm back. Everybody's been marinated. We have hot grill pan, hot skillet. I'm doing the skillet just because I think that visually you'll be able to see it better, I hope. And the pasta's all cooked and rinsed and chilled down, so we'll be able to get on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start grilling. Well, actually, I think the first thing I'm going to do is, because I can change my mind, I'm going to put into this hot skillet the porcini mushrooms and the zucchini. It's been just steeping in that hot water, and I don't want to let any of that flavor go because of how amazing it can be. So even though I'm going to make this into an Alfredo type sauce with this, I just don't want to let go of the flavor. So there you go. And then we're going to add Alfredo and pasta, and I need to get my meat on here. And I do have some evaporated milk also. So the marinated elk meat is going on here right now. I want to make sure that skillet's nice and hot. You don't want to put, and this has been marinating at room temperature for about an hour. So that's okay. So you'll have to look forward to the elk Wellington or venison Wellington. It's amazing. Truly is a decadent, really off the chart dish. Okay, so I'm gonna let some of that, you know, just the marinade kind of cook off, so I'm not all freaking out about that right now. And come over here and stir some of these. I'm heating these mushrooms and zucchini back up. The porcini mushrooms are so earthy and wonderful. I didn't want to let go of any of that stock, which it really is. It's a vegetable stock. So we're going to get that going. And I better add some of the Alfredo. Now this mix, I've got a video on how to make this mix. It's my version. You can make it any way you want. You could have a jar of it, I guess, but it wouldn't be the same. So you do what you gotta do. And I'm just gonna start adding it in. This sauce is so good. Alfredo at its finest, and it's instant. You know, how I came up with this, it woke me up in the middle of the night. I made an Alfredo lasagna, and I was like, how can I make that easier? Because by the time I made the Alfredo and everything and started assembling the lasagna, I was exhausted. And I thought, there's got to be an easier way. And there is. So now I'm going to open up some evaporated milk, just because I want a little creamier flavor to this because of the mushrooms and all that. So we're just going to add that in. But anyway, so it woke me up, and I decided that I could do a dry mix, and I've done other dry mixes, and so, hey, it works. It works like nobody's business. It's got my homemade garlic powder. It's got all these spices and herbs in there that just make it amazing. So, now, oh man, we are gonna have some really good pasta. I'm going to add another whole can of water in there and some more of the Alfredo. And the only reason I do the water is to get every bit of the evaporated milk out. So I'm going to add some more of that. And then I'm going to bring you back when I add the pasta and everybody's going happy, happy. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so the end result is that we have pasta and we have elk steak. And actually some of these pieces were pretty thin because they were towards one end or the other of the backstrap. Even though it is backstrap, you know, it's all delicious, so I'm not gonna complain at all. And the pasta, the penne pasta, oh my gosh, it's so